Well, hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, it's been a little while since I've done any videos, and I thought I'd give you an update on a few of my little projects. So the first one, I'm having a play in the boot of the Giulia. Now normally you'd be looking at about 400 litres of boot space in this bad boy, and that'd be fine for most applications. But I have a slightly different set of circumstances, which means now and then I might need to get a wheelchair in the boot for a family member. So how can I make a bit more space? Now, up to now, I'd pulled the boot floor and the kind of protective polystyrene and all that stuff out of the way, which made just the right amount of space. But the downside is I've got lots of expensive electronics which are then exposed underneath. Let's take a look and have a think about solutions. Here it is. So, by sticking it just about here, when you press down, you've got a bit of squish, and then you've got something that protects it. It's nice and thin. Makes the maximum of the space you have available, but the downside is it doesn't exactly look OEM. And for a nice car like an Alfa Romeo, we want something that's a little bit more stylised, a little bit more in keeping with the car. So here comes a splash of engineering. And what we have here is a roll of sticky back alcantara, because race car. So my thinking was, if I made a template out of cardboard, I could put a false floor in, just like the track day boys do if they rip the back seats out of a car, covered in this. A little bit of Velcro on the back to hold it in place, build in the dip that I need to accommodate whatever's going in the boot, and we're on to a winner. So let's give it a go. If you ever watched Art Attack in the 90s, I'm sure the head would be watching on in anticipation of an epic fail, but Neil Buchanan, I will not let you down. This is going to be epic. So tools of the trade at the ready, we've got the cardboard on the floor, we're going to do the layout of the carpet and trace around the outside. Right, pen to the ready. Let's trace this thing out. Doesn't need to be perfect.
So effectively taking full advantage of the fact that I've still got the original carpet available to me, I'm going to use this to give me a good template which I can then run knife or a pair of scissors around the outside. And it should look lovely. There's the result. Out come the scissors, and it's time to give this a jolly good trim to get it as close as we can to the final shape. So time for a trial installation in the boot, and you can see that the rough cut on the cardboard has done the job, but I need to have a think about how I can make the most of the space. I'd like to have a little drop down, so I'm having a look at this tray just in front of the rear differential, and I'm going to trace the outline of that onto the card. I'm going to introduce some horizontal slits in the card.
So a light score here, and then a deep cut there, cuts on the side. Should allow you to push flap down and create some depth.
But now on the right hand side, I've got a bit of a clash with the other side of the electronics tray, so I probably need to put a vertical cut along this line here and then provide some support so it doesn't all fall to bits.
So now we've got a slit on this side which we don't need anymore, so we can just join that back up with a bit of tape. This one can follow all the way down, see to the left, at 90 degrees, and we can bring this one down to meet it. So probably, yeah, if we carried that on straight and just did a triangle, it's going to be relatively stiff.
So I'm using some pieces of duct tape to secure everything in place. In a moment I'll be using some alcantara on the other side to stick down and provide the sort of structural strength, if you will. But here it is fitted in the boot of the car, and with a full-on Art Attack experience, everything looking, well, like it's made out of cardboard. So that's relatively well supported, and now I'm just pulling the backing off on the alcantara, which I'll tuck around the edges. It feels absolutely lovely to the hand. It leaves a nice brushed finish. So now I'm just going to sort of let it into the corners and trim right up to the edge of the card.
So what I've done is to kind of let it into the corners a little bit, triangulate that out, and then I can put a flat piece in that will cover the inner. So it's not going to look too bad when it's done, actually. I think we'll try the other side and see where we end up. Disaster has struck. So we've got the first side to lay down really nicely over that as a piece of carpet. But what I didn't originally do was plan for more carpet than was needed just to cover up to the start of that polystyrene. Unfortunately, I've done just that and I haven't got enough to finish the job. So I'm going to have to get back on eBay and order some more.
So here we are, about a week later, now working inside. I've put the alcantara on the other side of the cardboard, and I'm just tucking it in on the back side. You won't notice it's there once it's flipped over, and it should leave a nice smooth finish right up to the edge on the top. The last step is then letting in the alcantara through the dip and using a bridging piece to go across to make sure it's all supported nicely. And here it is, fitted in the back of the car, ready for transporting precious cargo and engineering materials all around the UK. I think the intention will eventually be to use this for transporting some of my gigging equipment, so I can get my guitar and my amp in the boot as well. So if you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, but for now, engineer out.